we were going to move upwards unless this profile evolved very quickly after open. That actually leads me to one more point. When you're looking at your market maker positioning and all of this information, this evolves very quickly, usually within the first half an hour after market has opened. And the reason why that happens is because most institutional positioning and retail positioning is opened within the first half an hour of market open. 0DTE positioning, I should say, is opened within the first half hour of market open. And obviously that impacts all of this market maker positioning. So ideally, when people say, I'll wait half an hour after open or wait an hour after open before making any moves, that's partly where this comes from. And the other consideration is most zero-day positioning that is open by institutions is left open all day. So you will see very little update, because you can change this to, if you have options depth, you can actually change this to whether it's customers or market makers. If you change this to customers and you select like firms and brokers and professional customers and unselect non-professional customers, it will just give you basically all of like the non-retail flow. All of that non-retail flow tends to get left open throughout the entire day, and it will be left into expiry. Whereas retail positioning tends to get closed off during the day. They don't tend to let stuff expire as much. That does have some minor impact on the profile throughout the day, but it has the most impact on the profile in the first kind of 30 minutes-ish of the day. So as often I will post the gamma profile, the market maker positioning, the charm profile at the start of the day or in pre-market, but that it will and can change during the first kind of 30 minutes or so. So it's always worth checking back on it. And it'll change throughout the day as well. Sometimes, I think it was on Monday, somebody opened a massive call spread position. I can't remember what the strikes were or like where we were trading at the time, but it was huge. And you see it come in on this. You can actually change this to, you can change it to show you like the position at the start of the day versus the position now. But I don't know where the, oh, you see it just updated slightly as well. So yeah, now we run the risk of moving down to 6,310. That won't be as aggressive if that does happen. It's quite likely we'll just range here for a little while. You see right now, this is where gamma flips, right? All these black lines, this is where gamma flips from negative gamma to positive gamma. Negative gamma, market makers are hedging with the move, right? So we're moving down in negative gamma. We're just going to keep moving down until the gamma flips or until something else changes the sentiment, right? If there's news or something. Obviously, all of this that we talk about when we talk about market maker positioning and dealer profile, etc., and sort of how we're going to predict how the day is going to go based on that, we're assuming that is just based off of the flow that comes in throughout the day, news aside, because Mango Man, Tower of Man, whatever the hell you want to call him, could tweet something to like in 2 minutes time and this could all change and go out the window, right? Yeah, what was I saying? I got distracted. We'll probably range here for a little while because we move down through this negative gamma range where we obviously move very aggressively and basically gave back all of those gains that we made overnight. Until we hit this gamma flip zone. This gamma flip zone is where gamma changes from being negative gamma to positive gamma. Now, we're hedging with the move in negative gammas. That also applies to the upside as well. If we were here and we started moving up again, we will find it much more easy to move up through the negative gamma environment than we will moving up through a positive gamma one. But now we're in this, albeit very small, these values are positive gamma range. We're more likely to kind of sit here and range a little bit more throughout the session. These values are very low today, though. You can see like some of these in this positive gamma. They're like 96, 103, but you see where we've got really dark areas, we can get values of like 1,692. So these are relatively small values. The green lines on this map are gamma peaks. So that's where gamma is at its very highest. They generally will provide support and resistance. So down here, obviously at 6.3, this is still, we're really far away. I don't know what the delta on that strike is at the moment, but we're still really far away from that strike. So it's going to have very little delta, and therefore the gamma right now is kind of irrelevant. But as we move closer to it, the delta will increase inevitably, and therefore gamma values become more important. But yeah, we'll probably range in this range for a little while. Or move down. If we grind down now, it'll probably be a slow grind. I don't think we'll just fall off the edge of a cliff. Not like we did this morning here. That was a lot. But yeah, why do I have a million tabs open? Where am I? Here. Okay. So hopefully this was helpful. I think that's about all I can sort of tell you just now. Obviously, there's a lot that you can learn here because I could then talk to you about this stuff all day. But that's probably everything I can tell you about this morning and how we knew that we were going to move down this morning and give back those overnight gains, which is why I went short this morning. But then I got scared and I was like, I'm just going to take my little £6 profit and run. But I think it's probably enough to buy me a coffee and maybe get Ralph a pop cup from the cafe. So we'll do that with it, and then we'll have had a happy day. Okay, does anyone have any questions before I go? Any videos or readings? Honestly, there's not like that many. There's not that much information on this, in my opinion, or like at least from what I've seen and found. I do have some information on my YouTube channel, but I don't have like loads of time to post there. I probably should have recorded this and posted this there, but maybe we'll just do another one of these another day. Yeah, it's not something that's like very widely and broadly talked about, if I'm honest. I don't know if it's an intentional thing that it's kind of kept a little bit hush-hush, but it is, or it seems to be. I don't know many retail traders that use this information. But obviously, in my opinion anyway, it makes sense that, so most retail traders lose money, right? And I think there's a few reasons for that. And I think that statistic as well is also slightly skewed by the fact that you'll get a lot of people that come into trading, they'll lose a little bit of money very quickly and then they'll kind of give up, and it does skew the statistics. But most retail traders do lose money. But most, obviously, market makers don't. Institutions don't. So in my opinion, it makes the most sense to align yourself with market maker positioning to retail, to institutional positioning, and kind of largely ignore a lot of what retail does. And it's also why I don't encourage people to use a lot of the like indicators and stuff that, and I know a lot of people do use, like people use things like MACD and RSI. I can't even tell you what half of these indicators are, like, genuinely, because I've never really used them. I think, yeah, ICT strategy. I'm not going to shit on ICT too much, okay? And I want to make this really clear that I'm not like an ICT fan or anything. But I was actually talking to my friend Dean about this the other day, and I was saying that, like, a lot of what ICT teaches you to find through their strategies and methodologies, as far as I'm aware, a lot of what they teach you to find is going to actually be in line with what you would find using like this gamma profile, market maker positioning, profiling, etc. And the reason for that is, if you take gamma as an example, where you have a big, if you take that, what is it? Like one of these big net dealer longs, say at like 6,350 or at 6,310. Today, this keeps flipping between 6,305 and 6,310 last few days. Where we have these big positions, price is going to have to move through these positions very, very quickly, right, in order to break it. It's going to need some type of catalyst. When that happens, you get displacement, you get those big candles. And that's what causes your fair value gaps, right? Now, bear with me here because I don't know loads about ICT, but like, I don't really know what I know from TT server. And I also like kind of know that it doesn't always work because of that. But what it's effectively teaching you is if you take fair value gaps as an example, you'll likely find that fair value gaps often align with where your gamma levels are because of the fact that in order to break through all that gamma, you have to have a lot of movement, whether it be in up or down direction. And then price often comes back to those levels because they can act like magnets at times. So it makes sense that if you have a large candle either up or down to create a fair value gap, it's at a gamma level and price retraces back often to equilibrium of those levels because that's where the exact kind of key gamma level is. So that's why I always say to people, like, I don't necessarily have anything like fully against ICT. I mean, some of it is bullshit. Like, I heard people talk about like that the market moves to trigger stops on retail's positioning. And that just like doesn't happen. Like, there's not like a bunch of market makers sat in a room somewhere and they're like, oh, did you know retail have all their stops placed at this level, so we need to move price to this level? Like, that just doesn't happen. Okay, that's not how it works. But a lot of these levels align with where you will have a lot of market maker positioning because that's just where price kind of naturally gravitates towards because of the underlying hedging that is at play from market makers. So it is a little bit more complicated, and I think like ICT has done a okay job at condensing some of these things down into more easily accessible and arguably even more actionable pieces of information. But it doesn't take away from the fact that underneath all of those principles is, well, this stuff, right? The charm, the gamma, and in turn, market maker versus institutional positioning, etc. So I was going to go like 15 minutes ago and I got distracted talking about this. Someone mentioned ICT and then that was it, like just rant mode was initiated. Any other questions? None? Okay, I'm gonna hop off then. But hopefully this was helpful and maybe we can hop back on and like do this again another day sometime, so we can talk about the profile on like different days. But today's was really interesting because I think the profile really just told us what was going to happen this morning. So, all right, I'll speak to you all in the main chat soon. Bye.